Good evening. Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. Welcome to BMC News Live in English, brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital Inter Medical Centers. I am Vinod Narayanan, joining you with the daily news updates. Today's headlines. Cabinet took constitutional oath before His Majesty the King. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister launched Cityscape Bahrain 2022. 8 government-owned land plots listed for investors. Saudi Arabia ranked first among G20 countries in labor force growth rate. NASA capsule reached Moon and prepares last big step before lunar orbit. News in detail. Cabinet took constitutional oaths before His Majesty the King. The Cabinet today took the constitutional oaths before His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa at the Sakir Palace. His Majesty the King received His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, who took the oath as the Prime Minister. His Royal Highness Prince Salman introduced the new ministers to His Majesty the King. The ministers took the constitutional oaths before His Majesty the King. His Majesty the King expressed his appreciation to His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister and praised his dedicated work in the service of the nation and the achievements and gains across all areas. His Majesty the King congratulated the ministers on their appointment and wished them success in serving Bahrain. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa thanked the outgoing ministers for their dedication and said that their services and loyalty will remain a source of pride and appreciation. His Majesty the King expressed his pride in the legislative, executive and judiciary branches and the decisions they have made to support the progress of the nation. His Majesty the King highlighted Bahrain's international outreach and the world's appreciation of the kingdom, thanks to its noble stances in support of peace and coexistence and its people's patriotism and keenness on the prosperity of their homeland. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister launched Cityscape Bahrain 2022. His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, today launched the first edition of Cityscape Bahrain 2022 at Exhibition World Bahrain in Sakir. His Royal Highness highlighted that the kingdom's real estate sector continues to grow and attract investments in parallel with the launch of major development projects, which reflects the robust cross-sector deployment in the kingdom. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister noted the efforts of Team Bahrain, whose excellence and creativity continue to support the kingdom's comprehensive development, led by His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. His Royal Highness affirmed the kingdom's commitment to the continued efforts in adopting plans and initiatives that further investments driven by the kingdom's advanced regulations into vibrant private sector. His Royal Highness commended the attractive real estate opportunities presented by Cityscape Bahrain 2022, which complement the government's wide-ranging initiatives and major strategic development projects. 8 government-owned land plots listed for investors. Assistant Under Secretary for Projects at the Prime Minister's Office and Head of the Government Lands Investment Committee Chairperson, Her Excellency Miriam Adnan Al-Ansari, stressed Bahrain's commitment to provide further opportunities for investments and developers to spur growth in light of the comprehensive development led by His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa with the support of His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. She noted the launch of the Government Land Investment Platform to facilitate trade procedures and optimize their effectiveness to attract investments worth more than $2.5 billion by 2023 with the Economic Recovery Plan, in a step that confirms the importance of strengthening cooperation with the private sector. She pointed out that 8 opportunities have been made available on the Government Land Investment Platform in various sectors. On the sidelines of the first edition of Cityscape Bahrain 2022 being held at the Exhibition World Bahrain in Sakir. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister launched Jewellery Arabia 2022. His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, today launched Jewellery Arabia 2022 at Exhibition World Bahrain in Sakir. His Royal Highness highlighted the kingdom's ongoing commitment to advance its comprehensive development in line with the visions of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. His Royal Highness noted the kingdom's competitiveness supported by a creative and talented Team Bahrain who strive to meet the kingdom's ambitious development goals. His Royal Highness affirmed that the opening of the exhibition World Bahrain, with its state-of-the-art international exhibitions and events facilities, marks a new era for tourism in Bahrain. His Royal Highness highlighted the importance of Jewellery Arabia and its 30-year history in the kingdom, a notable fixture in Bahrain's annual calendar of events. His Royal Highness expressed its appreciation for the significant contribution of the late His Royal Highness Prince Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa, who supported the founding of Jewellery Arabia. His Royal Highness also extended his gratitude to the organizers of Jewellery Arabia 2022, wishing them every success in this year's exhibitions. Bahrain Education and Training Quality Authority inducted 32 quality ambassadors. The Education and Training Quality Authority held an introductory meeting for 32 quality ambassadors representing 30 educational institutions. The Quality Ambassadors Initiative was launched by the BQA to establish a link with universities, schools, and vocational training institutions, share best practice, and build capacity in line with the criteria of the BQA. Chief Executive Officer of BQA, Dr. Tariq Muhammad Abdurrahman Al-Sindhi, briefed the quality ambassadors on the details of the initiative, BQA's criteria and means of offering technical support for quality assurance teams in partner institutions. BQA Chief of General Education Qualifications, Dana Rabia, said the introductory meeting was the biggest gathering of quality assurance experts and practitioners in the kingdom. She explained that the Quality Ambassadors Initiative will include training and certification programs and periodic meetings. Today's COVID updates. COVID updates brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers. Now we will be back after a very short break. The 16th branch of Megamart and Macromart supermarkets in Bahrain has opened in Sahla. The best offers are available to the customers at affordable rates. Everyone is welcome. During and around the opening day, a variety of fish including salmon, meat and dairy products, roastery, frozen items, food and non-food items, groceries, fruits and vegetables, electronics, garments and ready-to-eat food items are available to the customers at affordable rates. Hearty welcome to all. Megamart and Macromart, your favorite shopping destination.
The exclusive franchisee of Cochin Kala Bhavan in Bahrain, with over a decade of existence in Bahrain. Exclusive online regular classes have started for classical dances, music vocal, instrumental music, cinematic dance, Kathak, Zumba body fitness, karate and yoga, drawing, arts and craft, children's theatre. For more information, please call 3909 6845 3909 4806 3885 2397 or visit www.bahrainmediacity.com.
Welcome back. Saudi Arabia ranked first among G20 countries in labor force growth rate. As Saudi Arabia is undertaking massive economic diversification, the kingdom has ranked first in the labor force growth rate among the group of 20 countries during the period 2012 to 2021, according to a recent report launched by the National Labour Observatory. This comes as Saudi Arabia has shown positive signs in the main labor indicators, which are based on global benchmarks issued by the International Labour Organization, as the kingdom is steadily progressing in its efforts to create more jobs in line with Vision 2030. The labor indicators include the annual labor force growth, labor force participation rate, employment and unemployment rates, in addition to the rate of those outside the scope of education, work and training. The NLO and the Saudi labor market indices were launched in 2019 with the objective of further boosting Saudization and regulating the labor market. The NLO provides a set of services and products specialized in the labor market based on comprehensive and accurate data that enables anticipating the future of the labor market, evaluating policies and programs and measuring their impact. Dubai and Northern Emirates hit by heavy rain, more wet weather forecasted. Rain fell in parts of Dubai and Northern Emirates on Tuesday after months of bone-dry conditions. The downpours were heaviest in Ras Al Khaimah and Fujairah. As is often the case in Dubai, which is nearly 40 kilometers long, there were afternoon showers at the Sharjah end of the town, while the marina in the south was dry. The National Center for Meteorology said more unsettled weather can be expected on Wednesday. Forecasters predicted lower temperatures with a chance of fog and mist in the coming days. It will be humid at night. Second edition of Sharjah Events Festival to begin from December 8th. With the tagline, See Sharjah, the Sharjah Events website of the Sharjah Government Media Bureau has announced the beginning of the second edition of the Sharjah Events Festival, which will run for 4 days from December 8 to 11, from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. each day. At the Al-Majaz Amphitheatre, a wide variety of sports, musical events, activities and classical and contemporary stage productions are all part of the Sharjah Festival of Events family-friendly schedule. More than 35 government, semi-government and private entities and institutions in the Emirate of Sharjah take part in the festival's events, which are held on interactive platforms and include a wide range of entertainment options and free workshops for festival goers. Magnitude 6.2 earthquake struck off the coast of Mexico. An earthquake of 6.2 magnitude struck off the coast of Baja California in Mexico on Tuesday, the U.S. Geological Survey reported. The quake, about 30 kilometers west-southwest of Las Bizarras in Baja California, struck at a depth of 19 kilometers. Magnitude 6 earthquake struck western Turkey, no deaths reported. An earthquake of magnitude 6 struck western Turkey, the European Mediterranean Seismological Center said, while the Interior Minister said there were no immediate reports of deaths or significant damage. The quake was at a depth of 2 kilometers. Turkey's Disaster and Emergency Management Authority, which measured the quake at 5.9 magnitude, said the epicenter of the tremor had been in the northwestern province of Dues, according to Reuters. NASA capsule reached the moon and prepares last big step before lunar orbit. NASA's Orion capsule reached the moon Monday, whipping around the far side and buzzing the lunar surface on its way to a record-breaking orbit with test dummies sitting in for astronauts. It is the first time a capsule has visited the moon since NASA's Apollo program 50 years ago. It represents a huge milestone in the $4.1 billion test flight that began last Wednesday, Associated Press reported. The coming weekend, Orion will shatter NASA's distance record for a spacecraft designed for astronauts nearly 250,000 miles from Earth, set by Apollo 13 in 1970. And it will keep going, reaching a maximum distance from Earth next Monday at nearly 270,000 miles. The capsule will spend close to a week in lunar orbit before heading home. A Pacific splashdown is planned for December 11th. The Space Launch System rocket, the most powerful ever built by NASA, performed exceedingly well in its debut mission. The mission manager said teams are dealing with two issues that require workarounds, one involving the navigational star trackers, the other the power system. Stringent laws needed to curb corruption, Center told Supreme Court. A stringent anti-corruption law is the need of the hour, as corruption is making the country hollow. The Center has told a 5-judge constitutional bench of the Supreme Council that examined whether public servants can be prosecuted for bribery if bribe givers fail to record their statements or turn hostile. corruption strikers are the root of national interest and these stringent provisions should be given its full meaning. Additional Solicitor General, who appeared for the centre in the matter, told a bench of justices on Tuesday. The bench concluded the hearing and reserved its judgment on the issue whether death's non-appearance of compliance or them turning hostile will impact pending cases against the public servant under the Prevention of Corruption Act. It was also to examine whether in such a scenario it will be for the prosecution to establish guilt using other evidence. A public servant can be convicted in offences related to bribery if the element of demand and acceptance of bribe is proved. With that, we come to the end of today's news. Stay tuned for daily news updates in BMC News Live English at 7:30 p.m. every day. I'm Vinod Narayanan signing off from BMC News Live. Good night.